Back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about the potentiality of a revolution currently going on in Brazil right now. So, for those that haven't heard, apparently in the last couple of days now, you've basically had Brazil start to kick shit off January 6th style and do what needs to be done there in that country. So, and the thing is, like, when you look at Brazil specifically, their whole entire system of voting is, as far as I'm aware, sort of a direct democracy kind of thing. And the problem with the way that it's set up is you can essentially have somebody take like one big area of the country, and all they have to do is win that one area, and they're just president of the fucking country, is what it is, dude. It would be basically like if we had a direct democracy here, and you have all these Democrats that keep wanting to get rid of electoral college and stuff like that, finally get their way, you would have New York and California basically control everything from now on, is what it would be then, dude, in every election cycle federally. And it's exactly why we need to keep a electoral college in place, and exactly why everybody that's calling for this shit needs to be ousted from office immediately, is what it is, dude. Because it's a bunch of bullshit that you can have sitting senators like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and all these people like that calling for that stuff and not be tossed fucking office right then and there, dude. And be in prison right now for high crimes against the people at this point, dude. Because honestly, they should be facing high treason against American people charges at this point for even calling for that shit, dude. But anyway, not to mention that Warren and Sanders should both be tossed out of office just based on the fact that they failed to run for the U.S. presidency in 2020 while being sitting senators and didn't have to give up their positions of power as sitting senators to even run for the presidency, which is absolute bullshit as well on that one, dude. It's like, no, if you're holding a lesser office, fuck you, give it up, or don't fucking run is what it is, dude, period. And that's not needs to be at this point in history anyway. But anywho, so yeah, apparently there's like a lot of people talking about the parallels to January 6th in Brazil there, because you basically had a Brazilian version of Ray Epps, you had a Brazilian shaman, you had all kinds of shit, like the same exact stuff as what it was, dude. But as we're going to talk about here with this article that we're going to pull up here, you have specifically, where's that here now? Brazil, chaos in Brazil. Protesters storm Capitol, destroy Supreme Court and Congress. Said thousands of opponents of socialist convicted felon and so-called president Luis Eduardo Lula Del Salva stormed his offices and the headquarters of the Congress and Supreme Federal Tribunal of Brazil on Sunday, reportedly demolishing the facades of two of the three buildings and causing irreparable damage to priceless artifacts in the chambers. Said the riot in Brasilia occurred while Lula himself was in São Paulo state addressing the damage of recent floods. Lula is in a public statement following police action to subdue the protesters, announced an official federal intervention in Brasilia, consolidating the public security powers of several agencies into the hands of a hand-picked top-level official and accusing police of acting in, quote, bad faith and failing to prevent the protesters from storming the buildings. So here's the thing about that Lula guy. You have that motherfucker specifically cheat his way into office in Brazil, dude. He did the same exact bullshit that Biden did here in 2020. The motherfucker is a convicted felon who should have never been allowed to run in Brazil for presidency at all, for that matter. The fact that he was the ex-socialist dictator of that fucking country is why Brazil is such a shithole it is now, honestly, dude. The only reason Brazil started to come back from the brink was because of Bolsonaro. And that's the thing, dude. The only good thing happened to Brazil in the last few years now is Bolsonaro being president there, is what it was, dude. Was Jair Bolsonaro getting a power there. And basically expanding gun rights, expanding all kinds of good stuff there in Brazil is what it was, dude. Dealing with the fucking gangs and the cartels and stuff there, like they should have been doing what decades ago is what it is, dude. So, anyway. Continuing on back with this, though. It says, let's see where we're now. It said, the incident is an offshoot of months of protests following the October presidential election that saw Lula narrowly defeat incumbent Bolsonaro In 2 rounds of voting, most protesters support Bolsonaro, but more broadly oppose Lula's victory as illegitimate on several grounds, including his multiple convictions on charges of corruption acts occurring during his first 2 terms as president. An audit of the 2022 runoff presidential election, which featured only Bolsonaro and Lula as candidates, by the Armed Forces of Brazil, concluded that no guarantee could be made of the absence of fraud or irregularity. So they're basically saying there's voter fraud going on, is what they're talking about there, dude. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit entirely, dude. Since protesters also accuse the STF, particularly its head justice, Alexandre de Moraes, of intervening in an election by censoring mentions of Lula's corruption case and silencing Bolsonaro supporters through fines and police raids. Lula's inauguration on January 1st occurred without major incident, and Lula used his powers to immediately begin undoing Bolsonaro's policies, most notably sharply limiting civilian access to firearms. Yeah, you fucking take people's gun rights away, motherfucker, you're gonna die, bitch. Like, that's all just happening in the day, dude. You know, seriously. And, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about, dude. This is exactly why no American in their right mind will ever give up our constitutional right to keep and bear arms in this country, dude, because we know for a fact that when you have fucking dictators taking fucking access to firearms away from people, the only thing that they're going to do is do a fucking democide after that, dude. They're going to do death by government. They're going to kill us all is what it is, dude. And I'll be goddamned myself if I ever fucking give up my gun rights in this country. I will never do that ever, dude. I will never do that willingly. They will have to fucking kill me first. And it's as simple as that, dude. And I mean that seriously. You know? And it shouldn't have to come to that, honestly. Because, again, government should never be allowed to get tyrannical enough for it to get to that point, is what it is, dude. But unfortunately, that's what we're seeing right now in every country at this point. And honestly, it would be nice to see Brazil kick something off right now, dude, because maybe it's going to be them kicking off a revolution then. You know, I thought it was going to be France a few weeks ago or a few months back is what it was now. But maybe it is Brazil this time around, you know? Who knows, man? Because honestly, I think that's what the one thing people have woken up to very much since 2020, since the 2020 election cycle, dude, and specifically 2020 lockdowns is what it was, is you had tyranny basically take over every nation in this fucking world. You had a lot of people like myself who were not putting up with that shit. You had a bunch of people who did do the go along, get along shit, and then realized they were being hoodwinked now a few years later. And that's what it is. If they ever try this shit again, it ain't gonna work, dude. Because they're already talking about like climate lockdowns and stuff like that. It's never gonna work, dude. You're gonna have mass resistance. You're gonna have civil disobedience on a fucking super scale to the point where you're gonna be like, fuck it, we're not doing that then. And that's the thing. And I think honestly, like going back to 2020 riots here in America, honestly, the only reason that some of them ended when they did, or not the riots, the 2020 lockdowns ending when they did with the riots and the fentanyl Floyd riots and stuff like that, is because they realized people were so pissed if they didn't fucking like open shit up then, you were gonna have like mass anarchy in the streets is what it is, like we're seeing there in Brazil right now, dude, is what it is then. So anyway. But going back to that article though. Yeah, it said right now. Yeah, they admitted that there was no way they could prove that there wasn't voter fraud or irregularities. So protesters also accused the STF, particularly we are part of it, police raids and stuff like that. So Lula's inaugurated. Okay, we that part as well. Immediately doing away with Bolsonaro's policies, including civilian access to firearms. Last month, Lula's pick for Justice Minister Favaro Dino referred to anti-Lula protest groups as, quote, incubators of terrorism, says the motherfucker who's an actual dictator, by the way, and that piece of shit Lula, that motherfucking scumbag. So many of the protesters convening in Brasilia on Sunday are part of a movement demanding that the nation's military oust Lula. They fucking should, by the way. So they insist their demand is not for a coup d'etat, but for the military intervention. They say the Brazilian constitution provides for the event of an illegitimate election, which is exactly what we need to be doing here in America too, by the way. That's what pisses me off about the U.S. military currently, dude. They should be ousting Biden and Kamala both at this point. So some protesters shared videos on social media during the event on Sunday, arguing for the military to, quote, save us from communism. And you had that in it's either Portuguese or Spanish, I'm not sure which. But anyway, it said Brazilian news network Jovem Pan reported that what began as a peaceful protest on Sunday against Lula veered out of control as nearly 100 buses from around the country drove into the capital. Overwhelming the number of police in the streets, the protesters tore down a barricade keeping them off of a congressional buildings area and climbed atop it. That'd be the thing that they're showing that picture underneath there. So it'd be like the trestle or whatever there. As it's storming its roof, while hundreds of others destroyed the glass facade below. Said mob succeeded despite police attempting to hold back a wave of people with tear gas. Protesters reportedly chanting slogans such as "Brazil is ours." That's what we need to be doing here in the U.S. Be like, America is ours. So once in the building, protesters set part of the Congress on fire and destroyed several offices. Authorities have not yet at press time established the total damage of the buildings, although multiple Brazilian news outlets have cited witnesses accounts to conclude it was significant. So basically saying they're, tearing down their government is what it is essentially there. As they need to be, dude, at this point. Said at the STF, the nation's top court, Jovan Pan documented shouts of "break everything, people." Let's see, STF is a target of particular hatred from Brazilian conservatives due to its use of censorship powers against Bolsonaro supporters. Minister of Justice, that guy that was appointed by that piece of shit Lula, also ran the Superior Election Court, which administers elections last year, proceeded over a fake news probe that resulted in violent police raids against comedians, YouTube commenters, and journalists in 2020 for having publicly supported Bolsonaro. So that same piece of shit also proceeded over the arrest and sentencing of former Congressman Daniel Savarina to 8 years in prison for having insulted STF ministers in a YouTube video. Good God, man. Like, that is 100% like anti-First Amendment shit right there in a nutshell, dude. It's completely unconstitutional and then some. Again, this is why we have a U.S. Constitution here, dude. Unfortunately, I don't think Brazil has what we have when it comes to First Amendment rights, free speech, and stuff like that. So, anyway. Said, according to Jovan Pan, one protester, quote, tore the door off of Minister Alexandria de Moraes' office and took it outside. So literally doing exactly what they did in fucking here in America during the fake insurrection of January 6th. That's funny as fuck, dude. The only difference is there it's a door instead of a fucking podium is what it is, dude. It said left-leaning Brazilian news O Globo described the damage to the STF building and its historic heritage as irreparable. In addition to that guy's door, the protesters destroyed several busts of former top court justices, particularly potentially hundreds of years old, as well as other historically significant artwork in the main chamber where the STF conducts its businesses. Quote, these were Japanese vases, rugs dating back to the Portuguese Empire, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. Tapestries? Tapestries. That's what it is. Dating back to the 19th century. That's kind of fucked up, actually, dude, because you're basically destroying history, is what it is. So these pieces were part of a collection of the first headquarters of the STF located in Rio de Janeiro. Ministers' chairs were also reportedly destroyed in that whole ensuing chaos. Yeah, a lot of crazy shit there, man. And then, of course, you had the fucking cops trying to beat people with clubs and stuff like that. And there was a whole bunch of these protesters that grabbed one of the sticks from the cops, started beating the shit out of them with it and yanking their ass down off a horseback. So, just to show you what's going on there, one video surfacing online, according to the O Globo, protesters claim police were affirming to them that they support the anti-Lula movement. Video shows officers speaking to protesters, but their conversation is not audible at the time. Let's see. So journalists also captured some dramatic moments. Protesters apparently coming to the aid of an officer in a clash with other protesters. Said Lula was not in that place on Sunday. He was in another part of Brazil near São Paulo at a reportedly pre-planned trip to access the damage of recent flooding there. He gave out his statement and all the other kind of bullshit is what it was, dude. Yeah, so crazy shit, man. And then you had Jair Bolsonaro has not commented on the protest at press time. He is believed to be in Florida, where locals have cited him pursuing local businesses in the past week, including in a Publix here in America. That's funny, dude. So the guy's not even in country right now. Good for him, man. That's how it needs to be, man. Then he got updates, said Bolsonaro win on the situation on Sunday night via Twitter account. He said, quote, peaceful protests, according to the law, are part of democracy. However, destruction and invasion of public buildings like those that happened today, just as those committed by the left in 2013 and 2017, are out of line. Said, throughout my mandate presidency, I was always within the confines of the Constitution, respecting and defining the law, democracy, transparency, and our sacred liberty. In addition, I repeat, I don't even pronounce the fucking word, the accusations without proof attributing to me on the part of the current chief executives of Brazil. He concluded referring to Lula blaming Bolsonaro in part for what happened on Sunday. So yeah, he's basically saying, fuck you, Lula. I didn't have anything to do with this. Go eat shit, dude. Fuck off. So, yeah, crazy shit, man. Crazy shit in Brazil. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there, dude. I'm not going to lie. I'm in favor of it continuing, dude. In fact, I'd say do this shit worldwide at this point, honestly, dude. You know, if they're trying to fuck you and they're trying to fuck your country, if they're trying to fuck your state and stuff like that, dude, you have every right to fucking protest against these people. You have every right to redress grievances against a fucking tyrannical government is what it is, dude. And that's the thing. People don't realize that, dude. Like, we here in America specifically have the ability, under the First Amendment of the Constitution, to do a redress of grievances against our government. And that's how it needs to be at this point, dude. It's like, no, this is what you've done wrong. This is what you need to be arrested for. This is what the fucking boys in blue out there need to be doing right now. They need to be doing their damn job and arresting all these motherfuckers, what it is, dude. All these corrupt entities and stuff like that is what it is here in America. The problem is that none of them will put their damn jobs on the line because they know for a fact when they actually would arrest these people, the most they could probably get them on was misdemeanor crimes instead of fucking felonies is what it was, dude, which is absolute bullshit of itself entirely. Speaking of which, I heard last night that apparently the fucking parents of the kid that shut up the school in Virginia apparently are now being charged with misdemeanor crimes, even though they should be getting fucking felony crimes at that point, dude, for what that kid did. So, anyway, yeah, just fucking disgusting all the way around, dude. So, I don't know. It's all kinds of craziness, dude. And the fact that we're only, you know, just over 8 days, now going into 9 days into 2023 right now. Dude, if this is how shit starts off here in January 2023, like, I would hate to see where we're at come December 2023, because I think by then it's going to be all kinds of food gangs and shit like that, dude, and all kinds of craziness is what it is. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I fear for what's going to happen in the future here, but I'm prepared for what's to come, honestly, dude. You know, there's a reason why all the books behind me on that bookshelf are all a bunch of prep books, and there's a reason why I've read most of them at this point. And by that, I mean read through mostly all of them, like cover to cover, basically, at this point, because, you know, I'm ready to do what needs to be done in case shit does go south. And if nothing else, I'll just if I need to grab like one particular one because I don't remember stuff out of it or whatever the case be, I'll just grab like one particular one is what it is, dude. And I've actually thought about before just taking a notepad and just like rewriting some of the shit out of some of these, because there's several different ones and different ones of them that are different things, but then there's other stuff that are like combinations, and all of them is what it is. And just write down like, you know, a top 50 things that like you maybe should have is what it is, and just have a couple pieces of paper on me or something like that that's just like written in pen of just like ways of how to do certain things, whatever is what it is then. So anyway, because the worst thing is, you know, when shit actually does hit the fan and you're, you know, grid down and stuff like that, it's nice to have some place to like, you know, call home or whatever. The problem is if you actually do have to bug out and stuff, dude, you're not going to bug out with like 20 fucking books that are weighing like, you know, a couple of pounds a piece or something like that, dude. That's just not going to happen. You're going to go with like the smallest amount of gear possible, and for like stuff like that, I should say at this point. But you're going to go with like, you know, if you would have like ammo or food, water, medicine, stuff like that, like those are going to take top priorities in your bug out bag is what it is. It's not going to be like some random ass books and stuff like that, dude. It's not going to be like a random ass guide of like how to do this, how to do that, etc., etc. So that skill set you should already have is what it is. And, you know, unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people have that stuff is what it is right now. And it's sad, and it needs to change, honestly, quite a bit as well as what it is, dude. So anyway, I don't know. I think we're about to see some crazy shit happen in this country. I think we're about to see some crazy shit happen worldwide in this entire Earth is what it is, and I don't know if people are ready for it, dude. I think some are, and I think there's a lot of people that aren't, is what it is. And I think the people that are ready for it are going to be the ones that survive when shit does come and things do go south and stuff like that. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who God forbid the power goes out tomorrow and it's, dead of winter and you got fucking 10-degree temperatures and stuff like that in a bunch of states. Yeah, people are just going to freeze to death, dude, is what it'll be. People like me know how to fucking survive. If nothing else, like, you do what needs to be done. You bundle the fuck up, is what it is, dude. Try to keep your body heat inwards, is what it is. And you try to basically, conserve heat and shit like that's what it is, dude. And obviously you need to start fires and stuff like that and make sure you keep warm that way and stuff like that as well. And, thankfully I know how to do some of that shit, is what it is. And unfortunately there's a lot of people out there that do not know how to do that stuff, dude. I mean, hell, I could talk to like 10 people on the street right now. And I guarantee, depending on where you're at, if you're in a rural area or a major city or whatever the case be, you're going to have a lot more people in rural areas and stuff like that in different countries and here in America as well that would know how to do basic stuff like that. Whereas if you go to a major city and you ask like 10 people, like, how do you start a fire? They'd be like, oh, I need a fucking lighter to do it. It's like, you don't have a lighter, dude. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to get some matches. You don't have matches. What are you going to do? You're going to have to start rubbing sticks together, dude. You're going to have to start making fucking bow drills and shit like that's what it is. And if you don't know how to do that kind of stuff, then you're fucked, is what it is, man. It's obviously why you should have a fire starter. Number one, that should always be a thing in your packs and stuff like that. You should have some kind of a fire starter just in case. Maybe multiples, even for that matter. I would actually say at least 2 minimum, because 2 is 1 and 1 is none kind of mentality. The problem is, again, going back to our government and our stupidity here in this country with the fucking idiots who run this fucking shit show off a cliff at this point, is we have military equipment in this country where you have single one use manufacturers of that stuff. We're talking about missiles and shit like that is what it is, that we're now sending over to Ukraine to fight their fucking proxy war, that take anywhere from 3 to 5 years to replenish our munitions here in America, because that's how long it takes to build that shit, dude. And instead of actually having multiple fucking factories that can make that stuff, they're like, oh no, one's good enough. What happens if one goes down? Oh, I guess we're just fucked then, right? And that's what it is right now, dude, unfortunately. And it's just a bunch of dumb fuckery is what it is, dude. But yeah, let's keep giving fucking billions and billions of dollars to fucking Ukraine and fucking piece of shit Zelensky, dude. Fuck that guy, seriously. Like, I am so sick and tired of that son of a bitch, dude. The fact that fucking worthless little cocksucker came over to our country and fucking literally spit in our fucking faces by having those fucking cunts, Kamala and Pelosi, flip down a basically half Brazilian, half American flag. That is a slap in the face to both the United States and, or say, that's a Brazilian flag. Yeah. Half American, half Ukrainian flag. That's what I meant to say. When they fucking flipped down a half Ukrainian, half United States flag, it was a slap in the face, and it was a fucking spitting in our face of both American citizens and the citizens of Ukraine, dude. And it's a complete slap in the face to everybody at that point, dude. It's a literal fucking slap in the face to people, man. And I mean that shit seriously. But anyway, the entire point I'm trying to make is, though, is a bunch of shit, It's like, no, we shouldn't be fighting fucking proxy wars. We shouldn't be funding fucking proxy wars. Fuck that fucking country. Fuck the Biden fucking corruption. Fuck everybody's bullshit. Fuck the fact that Ukraine was literally the backup plan for all these scumbag fucking wannabe elites here in America that are a bunch of goddamn criminals in the U.S. government that we're going to try and fucking turn tail and run when shit went south here is what it is, and have that fucking country be their backup. And it's like, oh shit, Putin fucking figured it out, dude, and fucking took out your fucking backup country first. So that's why they're fucking pissed, by the way, is what it is. And that's why they're funding this damn proxy wars, because they know for a fact that was their fucking backup nation to go to when they fucking were going to destroy our fucking country and destroy the US dollar is what it is, dude. So, anyway, I don't know what's going to happen anymore, but I definitely think we're in for bad days ahead is what it is. And if you're not prepared, you're not going to survive. And that's why you need to prepare now. You still have time, especially in states that are having all this gun control push now, dude. Get firearms, dude. If you can legally buy a firearm in this country, buy fucking guns now while you still can. Seriously. Buy guns, buy mags, buy ammunition, buy everything that you need to get, man, to make sure that you are armed and make sure that your family is armed. Because if you're not going to do that, you're not going to survive, dude. You're going to be the guy running around with a fucking baseball bat while everybody else is running around with AR-15s and AK-47s. And good luck to you on that one, buddy. Because y'all ain't going to make it. Is what it is, dude. Unless people start running out of ammo, which is highly unlikely. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.